Introducing Photo Vibrance. Add motion to any image. Bring images to life with Photo Vibrance.
With Photo Vibrance, you can transform any photo into a mesmerizing moving image in just a few clicks. Simply drop your image into Vibrance and choose the effect you want to create. Then, select your preferred resolution. Inside the editor is where the magic happens. Click around the parts of your image you want to remain still, then choose the motion arrows to add movement to areas in your image you want to bring to life. It's really that simple. You can also add text, images, as well as special effects and sky replacements to make your images really grab attention. In our advanced editor, you can also create incredible 3D parallax animations. Control the path and rotation of the camera, adjust the easing of your animations, and even add real 3D particles to your images. Once you're ready, choose your file format and hit publish. That's it. Get started transforming your images into breathtaking motion pictures with Photo Vibrance.
Let's see how you can create lifelike images in 3 easy steps.
Hi, in this first step, what we need to do is basically cut out our main object or objects. So what you want to do is click on Select Object, and you can go through and start left clicking around your object. And what I'm going to do is basically cut out this branch. So I'm just going to quickly add some points over here, and once I'm done, I'm going to connect up all the points to that final point there, and we'll create a selection. So I'll quickly go through and add these points. Alright, so I'm just going to simply connect that up to create a selection. And as you can see, you've got all the points here, and you can make adjustments by simply, dragging them around like so. If you want to add extra points, just simply hold down Control on your mouse and left click, and you see we can add extra points like that. So it's simply Control and then left click to add a point. So go through and create this selection, and once you've created it, you can go through and give it a name. Let's call this one L, and then go on to the next step, and we'll start filling in the background. Alright, so in this second step, what we need to do is basically fill in this background, and the reason is when we go into the editor over here, if we start animating this camera, you'll be able to see that you can see the black background. It doesn't look very good, so we need to kind of clone stamp it to fill it in. So let's go back over to Edit Image and go to Next, and I'm going to click on the Start Cloning button, and I'll bring up the radius quite big of this selection. You can adjust things like the hardness and the opacity depending on the image. You might want to play around with those. But what you want to do is basically hold down Control to create a selection and left click, and it selects this part of the image. And if I move it over like so, we can go through and start filling in this picture. So I'm going to go select this here, left click, and drag it over a little bit. Maybe select it like so, and then you simply left click to fill it in like so. And you can see it works really well on images like this. It looks really good. When you're first starting out, you want to just have a play around with it first to see how it all works. Depending on the image, it can be a lot easier, as well as also it could be a little bit more tricky. So you want to take a bit more time on those trickier images, okay? But let's just go ahead and I'll quickly fill this in, just simply making selections. Actually, I'll select about here and just kind of adding these in like so. Okay, cool. So now that I've gone through and filled in that gap, what we can do is go into the next step and start animating inside the editor. Alright, so now that we're inside the editor, we can go through and start animating this image. So if I click on camera over here, and if I just zoom in a bit like so, and start moving it around, you'll be able to see now we've got this really nice looking effect, okay? And we can do heaps of things like adding in different text images, we can add particles and things like that. So let's go through, and I'll go click onto layers, and I'm going to go add some text. So let's just call this one, let's say zoo, and I'll adjust the letter spacing like so. And I'll just position this a little bit smaller, and also I'll add some extra text saying nah, open. Okay, and I'll bring this down like so, and just zoom in a bit. Alright, so I've got my text here, and I'm also going to go through and add a butterfly. So I'm going to effects, and I'll go add this butterfly here, and I'll just drag this down position it on the branch, maybe something like that. Now what we can see, if I just go through and show you something, if I go to camera over here, if I move this around, you'll be able to see that the objects are in different 3D space, okay? So what we want is this butterfly to be on the same kind of axis as this branch, so that it doesn't look like it's moving around. So if I drag this butterfly and place it just on top of the L, well, you're about to see that we've got it on the branch. And if I move it around now, you can see it's stayed on the branch like so. If I place it at the back, for example, if I drag this over, you're about to see it's behind now the branch. So I'm trying to put it on top like that. Also with the text, I want to bring these into the same kind of alignment like so. And that's looking really good. Cool, so what I'm going to do is go and reset this camera. And I might just zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to go to particles as well and add some particles. So let's go turn on. And I've got this leaf selected. And I'm going to make the leaf a bit bigger. Leaves a bit bigger. And also I might add some blur to them as well. You can adjust things like the contrast as well as the color. So you can, play around with the color like this. And yeah, that looks quite good as it is. And what we're going to do is just zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to rotate it maybe like this kind of angle and position like so. Okay, so here's my first position. Now what I'm going to do is click on add keyframe. You can also double click to add a keyframe like this or delete it like that, but I've got a keyframe. I'm going to drag it to about 5 seconds, and now I'm going to set the second position that I want it to end on. Okay, so let's just go in like this, and I might just bring it across slightly and also rotate it slightly like so. And that's looking quite cool. So let's just come in. I might also bump up the size of the leaves like that. And yeah, we've got this coming in from here to here. And let's just preview that. Okay, that's looking really cool. So we can add another keyframe by clicking on add keyframe, and we can set a different position. If we want it to loop, so start from and end in the same position, what you want to do is double click to add that same position keyframe, so then the same position, and then just drag it over here like this, and just delete this one, and this will go in and go out, and it'll create a really nice looping animation, especially if you're using it on social media. You can have it continually looping like that, and that's looking really cool. So that's how you can go through and create some really nice animations. Yeah, have a go and play around with it. And once you're ready, you can go through and click on publish and select where you want to save it to and publish your video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to try it out and have fun creating.
Check the link to download Photo Vibrance.